Hey, welcome back traders to another backtesting session. So we are making our way through the year. It is April 12th. I will be backtesting the 15th through the 19th for this one. Not exactly sure why the 19th is in black. I'm not exactly sure why. But anyways, yeah, we're gonna go through this week, the 15th. Right now I have it on the 12th, and just taking a look at the daily. This month, well, let me see, like the consolidation is like from here to here and all the way pretty much back until like March 1st. So for like a month and a half, we have not had good trading condition. Pretty much just consolidation here. We're stuck in this range. You see the last week I got the buy side and the sell side marked out multiple levels actually. So who knows where we're gonna go. Right now I'm looking at this fair value gap. So if we're below the fair value gap, I'm gonna be bearish. If we're above this fair value gap, I'm gonna be bullish. That's kind of how I'm using it to determine my bias. Maybe that'll help you guys out if you guys are having a hard time figuring out how to determine a bias. But and of course I'm using it because it's the most recent obvious inefficiency here, and we don't have any other inefficiencies. So I'm kind of just dragging this through all through this time and using it as a measuring stick. So Monday, April 15th, kind of getting a big view on the 1 hour chart. You can see buy side up here, we've got sell side down here. And right now we're kind of consolidating. Remember, this fair value gap is my measuring stick that I'm using. And since we are below it, I'm gonna tend to favor the downside. So I'm looking for all these sell side here going into today. As long as we can stay in the lower half of this fair value gap. I know it's not like a broken record, but that is pretty much how I am measuring the bias. Now on the 1 hour, I don't see any inefficiency except for this fair value gap. So I'm going to go ahead and draw out this fair value gap and just kind of keep my eye on here. We could go back up to it, use it as resistance as we push down lower. And I'm going to go ahead even mark out this fair value gap, or sorry, this swing low here. This is the first swing low. That's gonna be my first take profit. I like to see price come down to these relative equal lows, to be honest with you, but we'll see if we can even get that. And yeah, let's go ahead and walk through today. So 8:30, some kind of news release on the Monday. We went up into that 1 hour fair value gap that I'm looking for as resistance. Now, I don't want to see it get traded through. It can trade up to halfway. Ideally, we just start going down below this low with displacement. And if that does happen, depending on the risk, I could try and make an attempt on the first fair value gap. Otherwise, I will also want to wait for a confirmation fair value gap. So just before 9:30, we made another run above this high. But since that was pre-market, I guess 9:30 we could come up above this high once again, but I don't really want to see price go above this fair value gap. Instead, it would be better if we start seeing a displacement drop, maybe a small or decent sized fair value gap. We come back into it for a confirmation entry. Let's go ahead and see what 9:30 has stored. Okay, so pretty big drop already took out the sell side. So I'm gonna go ahead and just mark this out. If we do take it out, I'm gonna move it lower. But because of this big drop, I will take the first fair value gap if the risk allows. I'll have my risk up here if this fair value gap remains intact. But it's kind of big. I kind of want to wait for a confirmation. So I want to see price go into it and create another SIBI, and I'll enter on the very next SIBI. Okay, so 9:45. I like how we did not take out this low just yet. We created relative equal lows and we're coming back into this inefficiency. Now, this range was pretty big. You could take an entry here at the low, but since this big range, like I don't really like this. Another option for you is you could take at 50% of this fair value gap. This will be at 312 and going to 345. That's only going to be about 33 points of risk, which is pretty nice. You know what? I think it's a little late for me to say I'm gonna do that right now, but if we get a little drive above, like higher back into here, then yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try it. I like how the bodies right here is staying underneath the 50%. So if we do pop up, I'm just going to take one contract right now, just kind of like as a feeler, and I'll add to it later if we get a confirmation fair value gap. And then I'll have my risk here at the top of this fair value gap. I like how the bodies stay under 50%. Okay, so we do get another rally above 50% here. So I'm going to go ahead and take one contract here at 312, have my stop at 345. Just one contract as kind of like a testing the waters. If we get another fair value gap, I'll recalculate the risk and I'll try to add one more contract back into it. All right, so 10:15, we got a pretty big displacement. I don't think I really want to add here. In fact, I think I went ahead and just took my partial at 18,259. I got a nice win. It was at least 101, which is very good. It did actually come back down to take out these lows back over here. So it could be done for the day, but I mean, like, we did get a confirmation fair value gap here. This could send prices even lower for this right here. Although this is a pretty big range on the risk, so I'm not really going to take it. But if we create another fair value gap and we have an appropriate smaller risk, I may try to take one more. I mean, I know I'm supposed to be done for the day after one trade. I just want to give it a little time just to see. I'm not committed to anything right now, but I feel like price can come down further low. If you look at the 1 hour chart, I guess, it was going back into this fair value gap, but other than that, we don't really have anything else. If we're going to drop lower, we could come and take out this low or even that low, or maybe that might be safe for tomorrow. We could just consolidate for the rest of the day. So I'm just going to look a little bit longer, but not committing to any trades just yet. I may try to take a small one if there's a small risk trade. All right, so here is 12:15. Price did go lower. It went back into this fair value gap and grounded lower, but no fair value gap, so I didn't take any other entries. Just went ahead and got my one contract up here at 50%, the consequent encroachment of this fair value gap, and I went ahead and just took it off below these relative equal lows. I could have, I mean, in a live trade, maybe I could have just like kind of keep my eye on it and have my stop here and see how low it could get, and then once it went below, those relative equal lows before, I went ahead, I could take it off down here. That would have given me like another 50 points or so probably, but didn't really see that ahead of time. I just went ahead and took the partial below these relative lows. I was looking for that anyways, yeah, I'm glad to see that this low remained intact. I think it could be safe for the next day, these lows down here. As long as we don't take it out in the afternoon session. I think hopefully the afternoon session we just consolidate. Here's a 1 hour fair value gap. I don't really want to see it closed in. If we can consolidate like at the low of that fair value gap, and then maybe tomorrow we wick into it and then start heading lower for these lower sell side, that would be ideal. But let's go to the end of the day actually and see how price played out. Okay, end of the day, the price started dropping, came back up a little bit, but then just dropped lower and lower. Basically hit all of our sell side targets. So unfortunately, didn't get into any of this in the afternoon. Not really trading in the afternoon, but this would have been a really nice trade if you are a afternoon trader. I could have maybe gotten into this fair value gap, maybe something on the lower time frame, because I mean on the 5 minute, I'm actually not seeing a good opportunity to get in unless you're going for a change in the state delivery here, or maybe a change in the state delivery here. But that's not really the model. I'm trying to follow the model and trying to be disciplined. So I went ahead and took my partial, close my trade down here. I mean, obviously I missed all of this move, but still up for the day. Still pretty satisfied with the trade today. Let's go ahead and see what we can do tomorrow. All right, so Tuesday morning, I'm on the 4 hour time frame. I see that price did go below these relative equal lows on the daily chart. Unfortunate, I was hoping this would be safe for today, but we did sweep those pre-market. Looks like it went down overnight. We did sweep them. Now there is a chance we could go even lower, and we do have this older daily low that we can aim for. So, and after that, we do have this low. Remember, there is that daily void that never got traded back into. We could start heading back there, but not going to be that ambitious just yet. My only thing right now that I'm looking for is that we could come back down below these relative equal lows one more time just for another sweep. There is a 4-hour busy here that about halfway between these lows and this low, so I could be aiming for something like that. But right now I'm just gonna look for price. I think price can come and rebalance some of this inefficiency here. Let's go to the 1 hour. So on the 1 hour, we're still below that daily fair value gap, so I'm still gonna lean a little bit on the bearish side, but I think we could have some retracement. This is a pretty large 1 hour fair value gap. I've drawn it out and I marked out 50% as well. If we stay in the 50%, the lower 50%, and we start to displace on the 5-minute, I'll be looking for price to come and take out this low for a new, I guess, low of the week or something like that. But I'm not really going to be so ambitious to like aim for this low. I mean, we could go like halfway. I mean, I guess I'll mark it out. So about halfway. But if we start displacing lower, I'll go back to that 4 hour and mark out that 4 hour fair value gap. We could try to aim for that inefficiency for price to reach to, but gotta wait to see some sort of a displacement or whatever on the 5-minute. Right now, I'm looking for price to go back into that 1 hour fair value gap. So pre-market, right now is a little after 9:30. Not too much has happened. We put in equal highs. We had relative equal lows. So at 9:30, we came down to take the buys or the sell side below these equal lows. Didn't really go into this fair value gap. Just wicked around a little bit, and now it looks like we're heading down lower. A little unclear. Just gonna have to wait. I don't really see a really good setup at this point. So a little bit before 10:30, we went back into that fair value gap that I mentioned earlier, and it looks like we do have a change in the state of delivery. We could be heading up for these relative equal highs. Remember, I'm looking for price to go back into that 1 hour CIBI. I guess a potential long setup on a 1-minute chart or something like that, if you can see it, the 1-minute chart, but I'm not going to go down to a 1-minute chart. 5-minute is going to be my execution time frame. But I definitely think we're going to be heading for these relative highs here, but there may not be a setup for me. Remember, ultimately, I'm still bearish. I want to see price go up into this 1 hour CIBI just to go lower. I'm not looking for a prolonged move to the upside. All right, so here we are a little bit after 10. So I'm going to do a little bit of counter trend trading here. Remember, my bias is overall to the downside, but I think in the short term we're going to be coming back up to the 1 hour CIBI. We have relative highs, so that's kind of what I'm aiming for here, and seeing this move down here at 9:30, going back into this inefficiency. And overnight we did already sweep the sell side of those daily equal lows, so I'm thinking we're going to retrace some. I'm going to go ahead and try for this trade here. I'm just going to have my risk below these two down candles. I'm looking at this as an order block. I see a small fair value gap here. I'm going to go ahead and try and take this from 879. My risk is at 851. So that's going to give me about 28 points of risk. I believe I can only take one contract, but let me check the spreadsheet. No, actually, with the current balance, I'm actually able to take 2 contracts to stay underneath that 1% risk. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a shot. I will be taking my first partial above these relative equal highs and moving my stop loss to break even, and then we'll see how high we can get into this 1 hour CIBI. Remember, we do have 50% of it, so I'm gonna try to see if I can get close to that 50% level. All right, and just in a few more candles, we did get wicked in, and I took out my first partial. Gonna be placing a I'm going to be moving my stop to break even, and I think the reasonable place is I'm anticipating this fair value gap to remain intact. I want to move it to at least break even. I'm seeing this wick, this really long wick right here. And this is not accurate. Cape at the bottom, so that's about 50% the wick. So kind of unfortunate. It's really close. I think price could come down here one more time. Oh man, it kind of sucked. I want to put it break even, but I want to have a little bit of profit. You know what I'm going to do is hopefully this fair value gap remains intact. If this fair value gap remains intact, I'll have my risk below this recent down candle right here. And I'm going to see if I could take a partial somewhere in the red, maybe at the low. I'm going to try to see if I get close to the middle, but maybe that won't be in the cards. But yeah, but I think right now I'm just gonna move my stop to break even right at my entry right here. And then if this fair value gap remains intact, I'm gonna move it up below the body of this down candle. Okay, so a little unfortunate that fair value gap never remained intact, so I did not move my stop above the candle here. It just kept it at break even. It came down, wicked me, and then the next candle did come and take me out. Well, it would have come and take me out anyway, so got out break even right in my entry. But at least I took one contract off above these highs. Man, I was really hoping that we would go back above for that 1 hour SIBI. Wasn't in the cards. I could have just played it safe and take both contracts off above these highs, but I decided to get a little greedy. Well, anyways, still a little green. Let's go ahead and see how the chart look. So yeah, let's go ahead and see how it looks on the spreadsheet. All right, so looking at the spreadsheet, I went ahead and got in 2 contracts. Took one partial here at 918. That was 1.4 to 1. And then the other one just got stopped out break even. So a little bit, like 75, close to $75 on the day. Not bad, but of course, remember, this was like a counter trend trade, so maybe it's not really with my higher time frame bias. Maybe I should have just played a little safer, ticket this off. I mean, it was 1.4 to 1. That is better than 1 to 1. So I don't know what I can say about this trade. I'm not really happy with it. I mean, I'm glad I took a little bit of profit, but you know, I didn't trade with my higher time frame bias. I waited too long, tried to get greedy. I don't know. I mean, let me just play out the rest of the day's price action, and then we'll see what we can do tomorrow. So here's the morning price action. You can see that if I didn't move my stop to break even, it would have come and stopped me out for the stop loss. I would have, given back some of the profits from the partial up here. And then it pretty much just consolidated in this range. It was a pretty back and forth day. Never got up to that 1 hour SIBI, unfortunately. So never would have worked out. I mean, I guess I could have just went ahead and take it out. I mean, this was a pretty obvious with the relative highs and the price coming back down to here in the BISI. But it is what it is. Let's take a look at the end of the day and we'll move on to Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. So really choppy day going back and forth. We actually came back down to take out the sell side before going back up to take the buy side, going into that 1 hour SIBI finally. But looking at it, it was kind of like a seek and destroy day, honestly. I mean, it looked like an expanding, I don't know, I forgot what it's called. Like it's like a wedge that just, it starts growing, right? You get higher highs and you get lower lows. So tough day of trading, but I'm glad I'm able to take a quick partial, make it out with a little bit today, but pretty much a nothing burger. We're going to go to the next day, and I think if we can stay in the lower half of this fair value gap on the 1 hour, I'm going to still look for lower prices. All right, so Wednesday morning on the 1 hour chart, I'm not really happy to see that overnight we did take out this low right here, the sell side here. But I am glad to see that we are pretty much staying in, we're respecting this 1 hour fair value gap. Now, because we did sweep the sell side here and we traded above these down candles on the 1 hour, I'm expecting price to come and take out this high. I want to see a sweep of this high, but I don't really want to see price go above this 1 hour fair value gap. I want this 1 hour fair value gap to remain intact. I want to see a sweep of the high. Then I want to look for lower prices. And looking back on the 4 hour, what can I target? Really, I think back here we have a fair value gap. Let's see, we did go below these lows. I guess I could aim for this fair value gap here. So this is the 4-hour fair value gap. There's actually two of them. This one a little bit smaller, and then this larger one. I think the larger one is probably more attractive for prices to come down into. So looking at the 4-hour, I'm thinking price can come below this low and maybe go for, you know, these fair value gaps here. And then you remember this line right here. Remember that was the midpoint between the relative equal lows and the daily lows on the daily chart. And that's like right in the middle of that 4-hour fair value gap. So I think this is actually a really good target to shoot for. Okay, and looking at pre-market, okay, so I mentioned that I want to see a sweep of this high up here at 988, but we don't necessarily have to get that. If we're looking over here, we do have a lot of buy side. This is like the most recent buy side that makes sense for us to sweep. So I'm expecting at least this to get taken out. We could even go above here. We have relative equal highs, but it may not necessarily take out this high. And if it doesn't take out that high, that's signaling to me that we may be extremely bearish. So if we only take out these first two buy side levels and then we start heading lower, I think we can go ahead and look for that 4-hour fair value gap to get hit, because it's going to signal to me that we can't even get above this high. It's going to be exceedingly weak today. All right, so a little bit before the 9:30 opening bell, we already took out the first buy side. We already took out the second buy side. And on 9:30, I can still see us taking out that last buy side here. I want to see a wick above there, or if we just immediately start getting displacement lower, whatever that happens, if we get a first SIBI, I want to take a entry into the first SIBI if I can. But if the risk is really big, I may have to wait for a confirmation fair value gap. Okay, and at the 9:30 bell, we can see that we didn't get that wick up. So I mean, we can still do that. But I think I want to take a shot here at this first fair value gap if it forms. So cleaning up the chart a little bit, you can see that I want to take an entry here if this fair value gap remains, and then my stop is going to be up here. I'm going to zoom in to give you guys a better look, but looking at these relative lows, I'm thinking this to be my first partial. That's going to give me better than 1-to-1. Looks like maybe 2-to-1, which is really nice. So I'm going to be looking for a first partial below these relative lows. But because we didn't sweep this high, remember I said it could be exceedingly weak. It could be very, very weak today. So as long as we don't take this high out and go back up here, I mean, if I get stopped out, sure, okay, whatever. I have a second shot to take a short. I just don't think price is going to go super, super low. But if we don't take it out, that's really good for me for, you know, having a really, really big down day. If I could take more than one contract, that'd be great. I'll still take my first partial here, and then I'll look for maybe this low. I'm thinking this low. If we get a really weak today, I'm gonna try and hold for this low down here. Anyways, here we go. Zoom in here. You can see that we have a small fair value. Remember, this candle is not done forming yet. If there's no fair value gap here, I'm not taking an entry. But I do also like how this fair value gap on the lines up on the left here. We have a BISI and a SIBI, so this is going to create some sort of a balanced price range if this remains intact. And my risk is up here, so actually not that bad, only about 20-point risk. But let's just see if I can even get tagged in, if there's even a fair value gap. Okay, so we wicked up, no fair value gaps, so no entry right now. You can see the stop here. That's just me keeping in mind where I want the stop to be. I marked out 50% of this wick. This is not an entry for me, but I'm keeping my eye out here. If we start hitting that and we head lower, in my mind, I'm thinking this is another PD array that we can use to kind of like use as confirmation. So if we tap this like 50% of the wick and then we create a fair value gap, I'll enter in that very next fair value gap. I don't know, like we did have a change in state delivery, so even if we start creating a fair value gap here, I may take it, but ideally I want to see 50% of this get tapped into, and then we create a fair value gap. All right, so far no fair value gaps. Price did start going down, and we did take out the sell side down here. This was my original like first partial. Even if I move it down here, we did go below that as well. So right now I'm kind of just in a waiting game. What I want to wait for is I want to wait to see price go back up. I'm thinking maybe it may take the high and go for that sell or the buy side one more time before we head lower. or it could come back up to 50% of that wick. Or you know what, I'm going to go ahead and mark out 50% of this wick, the down wick as well. And you know, I'm pretty much just looking for some kind of confirmation that's telling me that, hey, we are going to be heading lower. I mean, I know we've headed lower, but I'm not seeing inefficiencies. I'm not seeing any like obvious signals to me. So hopefully we'll get something and not just have it drop and then we miss the move. Okay, so we are continuously dropping here. I think what I'm looking at here is, remember I said that today could be exceedingly weak, meaning that we may not get a lot of retracement. But what I see here now that I'm looking out a little bit, I see this high, low, high, and then we kind of have this displacement lower. So I'm looking at this down candle here as a breaker. I think I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot and trade off of this breaker here. So if price comes back up to this price, I will go ahead and take an entry, and I'll have my stop at the high of that breaker. I think this is going to be what I go for today. We may not get because if you don't see a fair value gap, you know, I mean, I guess this one could develop. This could develop, but I'm not excited how this is below this breaker. I mean, if this creates a fair value gap and I have my stop here, I'm not happy that it is close to the low of that breaker, because I think we could wick into it. I want to have my stop at least 50%, above 50% of the breaker. Okay, so cleaning up the chart a little bit, as long as we don't take out, I guess this one right here. I like how we created relatively low. As long as we don't take out the sell side here, I want to see a retracement to this breaker. I have my entry here for a short, and my stop is up here. If we do create a fair value gap, sure, I'll go ahead and take a stab at it. And then if I get stopped with my stop up here, if I do get stopped out, then I'll go ahead and take another stab with the breaker. But I feel like today may not have a lot of retracement. That's why I'm going to go ahead and take a chance on this fair value gap, because we may not come back to the breaker. It could be very weak today because we didn't take out that high. All right, so price did take out this low, and if you look, it also took out this low as well. I kind of feel like price is running and I'm missing it now. So I don't really like how all this sell side got taken. I'm going to go ahead and wait now. Canceling all my orders. Going to go ahead and wait. What I want to see is I want to see kind of price come back a little bit. Now there is a small fair value gap. I could try and take a chance on this one right here. About, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it right here, but just one contract, just to kind of like play it, because I don't really like how all the sell side got taken already. Ultimately, I'm looking for this low to get taken today. And up here, there's no inefficiency except for this small little one right there. So that's why I'm gonna go ahead and take a chance on this. All right, guys, I'm pretty much done for this morning. I mean, we went down all the way. My target got hit. I just felt like price pretty much ran away without me. I think the best opportunity was up here if that fair value gap remained intact. But it didn't. It just kind of just wicked through it. We have this BISC here that acted as an inversion fair value gap. I guess could have tried taking that, but prior to this, there wasn't really any confirmation. Like we could have went up above the high, went for this high. Yeah, just kind of ran away without me. Never really came back or anything. Like these days, they happen. I'm gonna see what the rest of the morning action looks like. If I do see something, I'll let you guys know. But I'm thinking that I'm gonna be done for today, and we'll take a look at the end of the day action as well. All right, guys. So end of the day, I went ahead and zoomed out to the daily chart just to kind of get a lay of the land. And it pretty much closed at its lows for the day, at the top of that 4-hour fair value gap. But looking at the daily, you can see that we moved away from this daily fair value gap. Remember, I was looking for this to be inversion anyways, and it looks like we're getting that. We did create a fair value gap here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and change the chart a little bit. Give me 1 second. Okay, so cleaning up the chart, and just get rid of all the distractions. I'm looking at this daily SIBI. I want to see price stay underneath this daily SIBI and go for this daily low. And there's even this daily low here that's kind of close nearby. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark it out. And I'm looking for price to come down to these lows, but this SIBI, we could retrace back up there. And if we do that, I will be looking for an entry up here and then aiming to take a partial below this low and these lows down here. Now, this is a 4-hour fair value gap. If we start going below this 4-hour fair value gap without coming back to the daily SIBI, and I start seeing it used as inversion, I'll also use that to aim for these lows as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have the next morning. Okay, so April 18th, this is Thursday morning, and I'm looking at the chart. I see relative highs here. And remember, this is that daily SIBI. So I want to see price come back up here, revisit this before we head lower. However, it may not do that because we did have this big drop. There is a 1-hour fair value gap here. I'm going to go ahead and mark it out. Okay, so here's that 1-hour fair value gap. It's in a more like a pinkish kind of, just to kind of differentiate the daily versus the 1-hour. So, and we also have another high here. Now I marked out this buy side. I think I want to see a sweep of that buy side, maybe a sweep of this buy side, maybe come back into this fair value gap, and then we head lower. Or if we start going above this fair value gap, then I want to see these relative highs and then head lower. But that's kind of like going into next week's stuff. I think for today, I'm just gonna look for these highs get taken, and if we start displacing lower, then I'll be aiming for, well, I guess this low here. There's also a gap here. You can see there's a gap. Maybe we can aim for that. Kind of lines up with this low as well. So kind of a tighter range today. Don't really know exactly what's going to happen, but these are kind of like the ideas that I'm thinking about. I think I'm going to have to just kind of walk through the price action today, just kind of see what's going on. I mean, if we take this low first and then we start displacing higher, then I guess I could aim for this high. I could aim for this fair value gap for like a long. But remember, once again, that's counter trend trading. It's kind of like not going with the overall higher time frame. But because this week has like kind of like Monday we went up, down, and we kind of reached our target already, we could expect a little bit of pullback back. All right, I lost my camera there for a sec, but got it back. Anyways, I was saying that I'm hoping that we get a little bit of a pullback since we are getting close to the end of the week. It is Thursday. I'm going to try to finish the last couple of days pretty quick. I don't know how long my camera's going to last, so let me just go ahead and go through the price action. All right, so a little bit before 9:30, you can see that it was pretty choppy pre-market. Well, we did go and take that sell side. So now I'm expecting, like, if we do get the sell side right here, we went back into that gap. Now I'm expecting if we do start getting displacement up to the upside, we're going to be going for buy side targets, maybe even like this one as our first target. But I think it could make another run for lower prices. Pretty choppy, so I'm going to just wait because price is not really, it's not really moving. All right, so I jumped back up to the 15-minute. At 9:30, we pretty much made a nosedive straight down. We're in the middle of this 4-hour fair value gap, so I don't know if I want to aim for this daily low coming into today. I mean, we could, like, you can see that we made this big move down, consolidated, and then we could duplicate this leg right here. We aim for that daily low. That could happen, but I'm gonna wait to see if we go below this 4-hour fair value gap and use it as inversion. Then I'll aim for the low, but right now I'm not really excited to go for the low. Instead, I'm gonna go ahead and try to go for longs today. I'm wanting to see if we can come back up above all this down move and get above like maybe this high or this high. If we could do that, then I'll be aiming for these highs up here, perhaps going into that 1-hour fair value gap. But if that doesn't happen, then well, I guess no trade for today. I'm just not I know the longer time frame is too bearish, but I'm not happy how we took out the sell side like right away before taking out any of this buy side. So I'm expecting some sort of retracement back into this 1 hour SIBI. Okay, and just before 11, we do get a rally back up above all this down move. We went above this high here for a market structure shift. So zooming out a little bit, I could be aiming for this high. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up a little bit, and then what did I just do? So I could be aiming for this high, and this high probably be like, you know, the best case scenario. Well, the best case scenario is to go back to the 1 hour fair value gap, but that's a little bit ambitious. I think the safe bet is to go ahead and aim for this high. So if we start getting a little bit of a retracement, I mean, this looks like an immediate rebalance. I don't know if there is a fair value gap. The high is 70.5 and the low here is 70.25. So no fair value gap here, but we do have one here. I want to see some sort of retracement and give me a setup before we take out the next high. All right, and it's 12:15. I mean, it's good that this high didn't get taken out. We are kind of retracing back into that 4 hour fair value gap. You can see we went into it. Now we're going back above it. We're staying at the upper half, at least for now. We could come back into the middle part. There is this fair value gap that we can tap into. If in the PM session, if you see it tap into and then we start rallying, that would be a nice entry to aim for this high, and of course the other high that I mentioned before. But my time window is done, so gonna go to the next day. But let's just take a quick look at the end of the day. So the end of the day, you know, all these buy side remain intact. We just sweep the buy side here pre-market, and then we just rally low. We dropped lower and pretty much just consolidated at the lower half of that 4 hour fair value gap. So going into the next day, I think we can try and aim for that daily low, as long as we stay in the lower half of this 4 hour fair value gap. Okay, Friday, April 19th. Not sure if this is a holiday or not. I mean, if you look at the calendar, it's like has a black square, but it's not red numbers. So maybe like a maybe it's a holiday, but stock market's still open or something. Anyways, woke up this morning and was not really happy to see that we took out the daily low and this daily low as well. Going back to the 4 hour, I'll show you what those are. Looking for this low and this low. I'm not happy to see that they have already been taken before the session started the session. So not exactly sure what to do today, honestly, because those were going to be my targets, but they already got taken. Maybe we are going to start going back up, retracing above these highs again. I'm thinking this is the most reasonable one because of all these relative highs here, and then we have relative highs up here as well. So the 1 hour fair value gap can be a partial as well. But in order for all of that to happen, we have to get above this down candle, right? All this down move, maybe even get back above the 4 hour fair value gap. Not sure if it's going to still be relevant, but I have it here just in case. Looking at the 1 hour, we do have this SIBI. We did go above the SIBI and we're kind of using it as inversion. We have this fair value gap as well. We're respecting that. So yeah, not exactly sure what's going on, but I think I'm gonna favor the upside just because, you know, we've already hit our higher time frame daily targets. Okay, so just before 9:30 pre-market, we rallied back up into that 4 hour fair value gap. You can see that the pre-market buy side, or sorry, pre-market sell side liquidity is down here. Buy side already got taken, and now 9:30. I'm not exactly sure what I'm expecting, but for the higher time frame being bearish, we could aim for the sell side down here if we start seeing that you know, price is going to go for these, as long as we remain in the lower half of this fair value gap. But really, okay, I'm just gonna be honest, I'm not exactly sure what is going on today, so it may be a no trade day, but let's just go ahead and see what 9:30 has to bring. So far, nothing. So far, absolutely nothing. We kind of wicked around during the opening bell. Now we're creeping lower. We took out the sell side of this low and not this low yet, but I anticipate that we will take out the sell side down here. Now I kind of have a little plan here, right? If we take out the sell side and we start displacing higher, I'll be looking for longs above this high, and I want to see price get above this 4-hour fair value gap and look for that high. That's kind of the plan that I'm going with today, since we already took out the daily target. And if you look at the week, I'm thinking of power 3 as well. Monday we went up and then we went down lower, and this could be the low of the week, and now we're just kind of retracing back up a little bit, and we may even come back to 50%. Maybe, maybe not, but I think this high, the high of the day so far, is a reasonable target to aim for. All right, so we did go and take out the sell side here, and we created our first fair value gap. I'm not going to take it, but I want to see confirmation. If I get a confirmation fair value gap, I'll go ahead and take that one. And my target is going to be this high, just a very conservative target. I may even take partial above this high. And that is why you will want to wait for confirmation and not jump right in, especially on a Friday. So 12:15, none of my ideas panned out. We just continuously head lower. We could be going in for a really, really bearish move. Remember, going back out onto the 4-hour, there is that daily void that was never traded into. So we could be returning back into there. We went down, took the sell side below these lows. And looking at the 4-hour, we do have this right here that was used for a drop lower. This never got traded back into, so maybe the price is telling me, hey, I'm really weak. I'm not even going to go back into this fair value gap. I'm just going to keep going lower, going for the sell side targets. This rally up into this fair value gap. Remember, that was a bullish fair value gap. You can see we did bounce off of it here, but then we went through it, and now it's looking like it's used as inversion. So I'm expecting price to not go above here anymore going into the next week. So next week, I'm gonna be looking for shorts, gonna be aiming for this void on the daily chart. But that's gonna do it for this week. Take a quick look at the spreadsheet. I think we made 2 trades, 2 small wins, pretty nice, kind of made up for the previous, I guess, the last week of March. But so far, not a lot of trades in April. I mean, we're like 2/3 the way done with April, and only made 3 trades. So April has been a low frequency month, and that's how it is sometimes. You know, you want to be patient, wait for those good setups. If you're not sure, best just to stay on the sideline, maybe paper trade, maybe practice or something. But yeah, not gonna go in and jump into a low quality trade. Anyways, that's going to do it for this week, guys. So please make sure to like this video, subscribe if you haven't done so, and until I see you guys next time, safe trading.